Hey everybody, it is Ugly Handsome, and I am back, not necessarily doing a trailer reaction, but kind of doing a little bit of slight analysis of the trailer. Many other people have done much more in-depth looks into the trailer and Easter eggs and that type of thing. It goes along with me not wanting to see too much in a trailer. I don't want to figure out too much about the movie, and this will probably be kind of a rant as well. Just because I've watched probably 100 trailer reactions to Batman, and the majority of them are great, but there are some that just got me salty. So I'll rant a little bit about certain points that people either were oblivious to or got wrong or what have you, just to release that type of thing. Let's get on with it. So, the Batman. We know that, of course, Robert Pattinson is Batman. I think he looks really good. Even as Bruce, thought everything looked good. There is also the Riddler, and I can never remember his name, but he is really great. I mean, sounds really great, looks really great. Like I said before in my other video, I really like the look of the Riddler. I like the look of really everybody. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Some people were saying, oh, what's wrong with her mask or that type of thing, and I was like, well, there's nothing wrong. It's year 2 of Batman, so it's might be year 1 of Catwoman or year 2 as well, what have you. So everything is kind of piecemeal. You just kind of put it together because you're just starting out. The big surprise, not big surprise, but is Colin Farrell as the Penguin right there, and looks nothing like him, and I think that's really, really cool. I don't think I've seen him in a movie where he's completely transformed, with makeup or special effects to, really look like a completely different person. I think this is very cool. I'm curious to see what he'll do with it. And Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. Very cool. I think he is a great actor. There's Andy Serkis as Alfred. You hear him a little bit when Bruce is riding up into the Batcave. The Batcave itself, I guess, looks like an abandoned train station, like a subway station. That's really it. I mean, that's kind of the basic characters, and to me, the basic story is, I tried not to analyze too much, but the basic story to me was obviously the Riddler had killed someone, duct taped their head up, possibly that's how he killed them, duct taped their face until they suffocated, and then wrote "No More Lies" on it. It seemed to me like that person might be the mayor, or a senator, or someone of importance, and the Riddler leads Batman to find out what was corrupt about this guy, and then, I guess, corrupt about other people, and at the end of the trailer, he's talking to the Riddler, and the Riddler says, "You're a part of this too." Bruce says, "How am I a part of this?" And he said, "You'll see." So my guess is that he's going to unravel corruption with this one character that goes to other characters, and maybe ends up showing some corruption with his father. Maybe that would be interesting. That wouldn't bother me. As long as they do it well, I think that would be a really interesting take. But I think that the Riddler is going to be the main character, and introductions to Catwoman, the Penguin. That's pretty much it for the trailer. That's what I think kind of will happen. And it's also because it's year 2. I mean, the very infamous scene now of that trailer is where, Batman just wails on this gang guy and says, "I'm vengeance." And I said before that I really liked it because it was brutal. But I think that's how it's supposed to be. I mean, he's only been Batman for a year and a half, maybe a little bit longer, and it just shows how he's still raw about, his parents and crime and that type of thing, and how he is kind of learning his own moral code. And he's starting out rough. He's just angry, and he needs to vent the anger, fulfill his sense of justice, and that in the beginning probably comes out really awful. Look forward to seeing the growth of Batman in that way. It reminds me, it's strange, but it reminds me of when someone told me about rattlesnakes. And the most dangerous rattlesnakes are actually the young, the baby rattlesnakes. They're more dangerous than the adults. They don't know how to control their venom. So when they bite you, they inject all their venom into you, and more than likely you die. Adults have been around a while, and they realize how big you are, that type of thing, and how much it would take to just, get you paralyzed, get you down. It'll be very interesting to see how temperamental and how mentally, we have to think about that. Batman is mentally scarred. Some people say, oh, Batman's crazy. I can see that, of course. A guy dresses up like a bat and runs around and beats up criminals. The only thing that in his mind, in his world, that differentiates him from crazy people, criminals, is that he has a moral code and that he's doing this according to his moral code, his moral compass, trying to bring justice back to Gotham. So, trailer, my sort of ideas for what the movie might be. Again, I don't want to see another trailer. I don't want to see, the full official trailer. I'm just going to stick with this one and then see the movie whenever that is. I know it's 2021, and it says only in theaters, so I know that some theaters are opening up here and there. Who knows what will happen with theaters in 2021? I don't know. So we'll have to find out. Now, rant time. Rant. First thing I want to rant on is, like I said, I've seen about 100 trailer reactions for the Batman. Majority of them were really great, very positive and that sort of thing. There were just certain things that drove me crazy because I saw so many just back to back. I guess it's not necessarily a rant or a pet peeve. It's difficult in the beginning of the trailer to figure out that the figure that has the duct tape is the Riddler. Completely understandable. But the one thing that really kind of, sparked a little salt in me was that the trailer continues with Commissioner Gordon walking in, and all of the FBI officers and police officers are staring behind him because Batman is behind him, and they don't look happy. Commissioner Gordon begins talking, and he's basically reading what has been left at the crime scene, and then opens up a card and kind of finishes what was written there in this rhyme, in this thing. And a lot of times people would be like, who is that? Is that the Riddler? No, it can't be the Riddler. It's got to be someone else. And I'm thinking to myself, of course it's the Riddler. I would think what gave it away was the riddle. Because he's reading it out, and then we see Batman, and then we go through, and then the rest of either the riddle or another riddle, I imagine, is spoken by the Riddler. So it was just so weird to me that it was obvious that it's the Riddler because there's a riddle. Not saying other, villains couldn't write riddles, but the Riddler's kind of known for that. The other really big thing was, people's discomfort, I guess, with Robert Pattinson. What people really got in their craw was that he's not super buff, super muscular, lifting weights, that type of thing. And I can't blame them. Think about it. Every Batman has been this way. Look at the first drawing of Batman right here. Okay, he's not like that. But, there were different appearances. I think it was the first appearance in film here. Okay, he's not really buff there either. Or here. Or here. Or here. So actually, the only big muscular Batman in live action movies has been Christian Bale. That was kind of the start of him being live action and muscle guy. So now everybody thinks that Batman has to be super muscle dude in order to, actually be Batman, because Batman is like Arnold Schwarzenegger in a Batman costume. Except he's not. So that just drove me nuts. I was like, people, it's year 2 of Batman. He's young. He's wiry, muscly, fast, as you can see when he beats the crap out of that gang guy. He's vicious, skilled. That was the idea. I mean, even at the beginning, like we go back to the first drawing, that was 1939. It didn't matter if he was like a super buff guy. It was about the character. It didn't have anything to do with his muscles. It had to do with his brains and his skills and his talents. That's what the point of the character is. It's not, oh, how much does he work out every day? Let's check his Fitbit. Ooh, he can be Batman now. No. To me, that's not how it works. I was surprised that there wasn't too many people really getting on the train of, oh my God, why's he got the stuff around his eyes? So many people were saying, it reminds me of the Crow. And I was like, okay, I'll give you a pass on that. But it's not really like the Crow. He just has eye black around his eyes because he's Batman, and Batman wears a cowl, and every single Batman from Michael Keaton until now, they've all had eye black underneath the cowls, and it always drove me crazy that they would take their cowls off and suddenly the makeup is gone. And I was like, and it always irked me. I was like, really? You guys just can't go with that? So I'm very happy that they're going with that. When he's kind of tussling with the police, some people have said that he was working with the police, and looking back, it's obvious that he's not. I mean, again, it's year 2. They probably hate him because he's a vigilante. And I think the reason why he's showing up at the murder scene, the Riddler's murder scene, is strictly because of Gordon. Gordon asked him to come in to take a look at things because there's a card there that says to the Batman, and obviously the killer wants to connect Batman somehow or reference him. So that seemed pretty obvious that was what was going on, and then him tussling around with the cops. So yeah, it's year 2. I think they probably don't like him at all, and it seemed pretty obvious when he came in. The only reason he was called there was because of the card. I hope that Batman is actually going to be a detective in this movie. Not that there hasn't been glimpses of Batman, being a detective in the other movies where he would, figure out certain things. Of course there have been, but Batman has always been known as the world's greatest detective. And rarely does that really get to be showcased. So I thought it was really great to have that scene of him coming in and checking the thing out, and I'm hoping they're going to get a little deeper into how intelligent he is and how aware he is. I mean, he's kind of like, I guess, Gotham's modern day Sherlock Holmes, because he can figure things out like that. He can deduce, he can do all of that, which only makes it more difficult for writers, because you have to think just as smart as him. You have to be able to go through your script and look at what you've written and go, this is the murder, this is how it happened. How easy is it going to be for Batman to figure this out? People are complaining that the riddle is too easy, that they figured it out. I think it's supposed to be. I don't think it's super intricate because it's the first one, and I think it's more of an insult to Batman, just having this simple riddle that I'm guessing Gordon can't figure out and the cops can't figure out, and they don't know what's going on, but he can figure out immediately, and it just gets exponentially more difficult with each riddle that goes on. I hope that, to me, that would seem to be something that would escalate and make it more difficult for Batman to figure things out. A lot of people automatically think that the gang scene when Batman beats up that gang member, that looking at the gang, that they think it's the Joker's gang. I absolutely do not think it's the Joker's gang. I don't know if it's a specific gang or just, a new one, an arbitrary gang to come out. I understand people thinking it's the Joker's gang because the guy that gets beat up has kind of a smile, a black smile thing. I pray that there is no Joker in this. I pray that there is no alluding to a Joker, anything even remotely close to suggesting the Joker. Is it because I hate the Joker? Of course not. I love the Joker. But even as though we've been oversaturated with Batman movies, we've been really oversaturated with the Joker. I loved the movie Joker, Joaquin Phoenix. I think that's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Let's just leave that. I wouldn't want to hear anything about the Joker in this movie. I mean, Batman has had tons of supervillains in his life. It's not just the Joker, and yes, the Joker is his supreme nemesis, but there's more villains. Just get more villains and use them. That's why I'm very glad it's the Riddler. I don't mind the Penguin being there and Catwoman being there. My misgivings about that was the problem that Batman Returns had. The second Tim Burton Batman movie, which I loved. It was awesome. It suffered from the problem of having too many villains in one movie. And again, I loved the movie, but I think that hurt it a little bit. Because not only did we have Catwoman, we had the Penguin, but we also had the villain, the Christopher Walken villain, I think it stretches the resources of the story too thin, and it just takes away from being able to concentrate on a villain, maybe a second villain. Anyway, blah, 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 rant, of course. Rant. Yeah, and so I think that might do it. Actually, finally, I'm sure a bunch of you are like, oh my god, what the hell is going on? I hope it's awesome as the trailer is. I think I've decided that I'm gonna try and do research on people who actually cut the trailers. Sometimes it's the director, sometimes it's the editor, sometimes it's something completely out of nowhere who just comes in and edits the trailer. Because I think that they deserve recognition. I really do. Because there are like amazing trailers for awful movies. But it just shows the artistry and the skill of an editor, of someone who can go through and take all of these things and put them together in such a dynamic way that it draws you in. And not that all great trailers are for bad movies. Of course, there are great trailers for great movies. But I've been duped a few times with seeing a trailer and really just blasting it out to people and sharing it and putting it on Facebook and saying, everybody's got to see this. It's going to be the greatest thing in the world. And then it comes out, and I want to punch the movie. I want the movie to have a throat, and I want to punch it. Let me know what you think about the idea for the story. Again, it's just me speculating with things that I saw. Let me know what you thought about my comments and rants about other people's nitpicks or what have you. Just let me know down below in the comments. If you're new, thank you very much for coming by. If you made it this far, congratulations. I probably couldn't have gotten this far watching it, but if you enjoyed this, please feel free to subscribe, to like, to ring the bell, to get notifications for other of these things that I do. But you don't have to. I can't make you do stuff. So if you feel like subscribing, awesome, welcome. And if not, hey, come back sometime and just watch some stuff. And that's it. You guys are awesome. And thank you for helping me to, create tonight's Insomnia Theater. And I will talk to all of you later.